Alright guys, here we go. Today I'm going to talk a little about who I feel will be the starting lineup for your Chicago Cubs come opening day 2012. First, we're going to start off in the outfield. In right field right now, I got David DeJesus. David was signed as a free agent from the Oakland Athletics in the offseason by the Cubs. He was down in all his offensive categories, but he's still a young guy. He can get around. He's a great fielder. Great leadership in the dugout for the Cubs. He did have 86 RBIs, which was his most since 2009, and he did get on base 45 times via the walk, which is the most again since 2009. So as long as we can get him on base, we can hopefully drive him in with some small ball, hit and run, bunts, sac flies, stuff like that. And in Oakland in 2011, he did have a 989 fielding average, which is great to see. Right now at center field, I got Marlon Byrd starting again. Of course, he didn't have the year he'd like, especially after getting hit in the face with a fastball in the season, which took him out of action for quite a while. He did play 152 games in 2010, but he did only play 120 games in 2011. Right now, I expect more out of Marlon Byrd. He's going to be a great player for us. Hopefully, we don't use him as trade bait to get rid of him, but if we do, best of luck to him. Right now, left field I got starting is Alfonso Soriano, entering his sixth season out of his 8-year contract with the Chicago Cubs. Last year, he did not have the greatest year. A lot of people really wanted him out. Thought that we were going to trade him or get rid of him in the offseason, but that didn't happen. He was down in all his offensive categories. He had 88 RBIs. He only had a 289 OBP, which was his worst in his career. He did have a fielding average of 965, which again was his worst since 2009. I really feel like if he doesn't produce early in the season or even during the middle of the season before the All-Star break, the Cubs are going to look to move him to free up some cap space to sign some bigger ball players. In the outfield, I have Tony Campana being a possible backup. Especially for Marlon Byrd in center, if he doesn't play out the way we'd like him to, or if he gets hurt. Campana played 30 games in Iowa last year. He did play 95 games with the Cubs, which was great to see him up. He's very versatile. He can play all three outfield positions. He batted .342 in Iowa and .276 here in Chicago. Great guy, small guy. Very fast. He could get into those alleys, especially when we go into big ballparks like San Diego and Citizens Bank Park and all those good places we play. It's really good to see that. He did have a 982 fielding average with the Cubs in 2011. Your backup in right field is probably going to be... let's see, who would I have? Reed Johnson. Reed Johnson could be a backup in right field or left field, wherever we feel like we want to put him. He did have a breakout year in all his batting stats. He had his best average since 06, which is 309. Best OBP 348 since 08. And he slugged 467, which again was his best since 2006 when he was with Toronto. He's a solid backup for Soriano when he didn't produce. Again, as you guys know, he puts his body on the line every single game, diving for balls, hustling to every play, and really works hard at his craft. Alright, now that we got the outfielder settled, we're going to work a little bit about the infield. Right now I got Giovanni Soto starting behind the dish for the Cubs opening day. He played 125 games, batted .228, which was a little lower than his average in 2010. He slugged .411 and drove in 54 ribbies, which is great for him. He fielded 987. He did throw out 36 guys, which was the most in his career, but then again, he did give up 88 stolen bases, which is a little high for him, especially when he won Rookie of the Year a couple years ago. Right now at first base, I got Brian LaHair. Brian LaHair played in Iowa and the Cubs in 2011. He could play first base and he could play left field if we really needed him to, but I feel like his position this year is going to be in first base. He fielded 994 at first and 958 in left field, which is great to see. Anything above 9.50 or better is really good. He hit .300, slugged .586, and hit 40 home runs in his career, or not his career, but last season between the Cubs and the Iowa Cubs. He's going to be a great asset to the team, but if he does not produce, a backup we have sitting in the wings was Anthony Rizzo from San Diego. We got Anthony Rizzo via trade last year, I think, for Casey Coleman. Rizzo is an amazing young guy, from what I hear. Hits the ball hard, hits the ball well. Young guy, I think he is in his early 20s. San Diego said he's a great guy, so I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do if Brian LaHare can't get the job done. At second base, we have returning Darwin Barney. Barney, in his first full season as a Cub last year, he had fielding percentage of .981. He had 9 stolen bases and hit .276. Also drove in 43 ribbies and had 23 doubles and 6 triples. Darwin Barney, I'd like to see how well these two, Castro and Barney, are going to work on the double play this year. It was great last year, but I think after playing for a full season and getting to know each other a little bit more, it's going to be great to watch these two up the middle this season. Shortstop, again, we got Starlin Castro. Now, in the offseason, we did have a little offseason issues with the sexual abuse scandal that he was under, but that seems to be out of the way right now. Haven't heard much about that in a while. He's ready to be focused on baseball and getting ready for the Cubs' 2012 season. He was up in all his batting stats. He had a .307 average, drove in 66 ribbies and 207 hits. He had 36 doubles, 9 triples, and 10 home runs. He also did field .961. Right now in the news, I heard that Dale Swain is really working on his defensive mechanics, which is great to see. You want to get these young guys in the right mechanics before it gets too late, before they get in old habits and habits he can't break further down the line. Right now at third base, I got starting Ian Stewart. Ian Stewart, we got via trade from Colorado for outfielder Tyler Coven and DJ LeMahieu. Ian Stewart was injured in spring training last year. He had right knee problems, and he also had right hamstring problems, which really affected his career last season. He was up and down between Colorado Rockies and the AAA Colorado Springs team. He only did play 48 games, but I feel like his veteran leadership right now, even though he's only in his early 20s, I feel like he can be an asset to this team via third base or on the bench when he's not playing, getting these guys psyched up and ready to go. And finally, your final infield backup I got is Jeff Baker. Jeff Baker is the ultimate versatile man, ultimate utility man. He played 81 games, and he played 81 games between all 3 positions in the outfield and first, second, and third base last year for your Cubs. He had an average of .269, he had an OBP of .302, and 23 RBIs. Jeff could possibly take the spot from Darwin Barney if he does not perform. But again, Darwin Barney and Jeff Baker are both utility men. They can both play shortstop, or Darwin Barney can play shortstop, Baker could play third, so it's really nice to have where you could fit all these different pieces in depending on injuries, pitching, who the opposing pitcher is going to be that year, just how everybody feels during that time. Alright guys, that's my infield and outfield backups. Next I'm going to talk a little bit about starting pitching, bullpen, and then the next video after that we're going to talk a little bit about the front office and some changes that are being made. Just a little notice on the link, there's a link below to my Facebook page, which is Chicago Cubs Today 1991. Also, I have a link to my friend Dave's football page. Great guy. Does everything you want for off-season needs, mock draft, all that good stuff. So check it out. All right, guys. Peace out.